Welcome back, developers. So in this episode, we are going to be building a meditation app which is called MeCalm. So what basically it does is, let's take a look at it. So we have a plain screen which has time controls, and then you have three different options for music, which can be used as a background music, right? So you have sound of sea, a sound of forest with rain on it, and then like birds. That's it. Okay, so let's click on sound of sea, and then as you can see, it's starting to play the sea music. And then we also have a background which runs on a loop, and you can change the timer, which will get updated over here, right? And also if you go to the forest one, it should give us a forest with rains in it, right? So that also works in the same way. And then if you go for the sound of birds, it will give you like birds singing. That's it. All right, so let's get into it. So all the details for the sound of these ones, right? Sea, forest and rain, and then the birds, all this stuff, and the video, you can get it from the link I will put in the description. So if you click on the link, it will take you to a GitHub page, and inside that you click on download zip. If you know about like how to use GitHub clone, and then you can use this particular SSH value. Otherwise, click on download zip. It will download a zip file for you, and then once you have the zip file, you just click on the zip file and then click on extract all, and then where you want to extract it, click on extract. Okay, so once you have it, you can go into it, and then you will have all the icons which are needed, and then the music and also video, so that you can just directly go into scripting the page completely instead of like researching for the music and the videos and the icons. So let's open this in VS Code. How we can do is, I will open in terminal, and then I will type code dot. All right, so now I have everything in my VS Code. I will just align it so that we can view it better. So here, and then I will delete the script.js file. It's because it has completed thing. I don't want like a completed file. So instead of that, we will script it out from the beginning itself. So I would suggest you to do the same, and like instead of actually going through the script.js, it will be much helpful if you code along with the video, so that you will have a better understanding of how these things work. Okay, so if you take a look at the index and style.cs, it's basically a basic styling thing. If you notice, it's actually very easy to understand. You have an app wrapper section, and then inside that section you have a video class, which by default it goes to 0.mp4. It will play 0.mp4, but we haven't set up the autoplay key here, which means that it's not gonna autoplay when the page loads itself. That's why in the beginning you see a blank screen like. So this is the background styling we have set up so far. And then you have a div for media controls, and then you have a div for sound picker. So media controls is basically this thing, and then the sound picker is this section, and then you also have a time list which has the time list section. Okay, so that's pretty much it. That's the basic part. Now let's get to scripting. So we will access all these elements in the first place once we begin out the JavaScript. So we have to initialize everything, right? So this is the play pause button. So I'm going to access it using this particular class. So I'm going to call this const play pause ptn equal to document dot query selector, and then the button itself. Okay, and then we'll also get the video element. So that video L is document dot query selector, and I think it also has a class of video. Okay, so I'm going to just access that, and then the next one would be, we are getting the elapsed time element, which is showing over here. That particular value can be found over here with the class elapsed dash time. So I'm just going to copy it, and then elapsed time L equal to document dot query selector, and then the class, right? And then we'll also get the outline, which is this part, so that as the time goes on, you can see this violet bar is filling up. So in order to access that, we will also access that particular outline. So const outline equal to document dot query selector, and then inside that we have a class for seeker outline. So this is the one we are going to be getting at. So this is basically one class is outside called range outline, which is an SVG, which has this violetish color circle, and then we are filling the circle with another purple color, which is seeker outline, right? So we are going to access the seeker outline and then dash outline, and then we will access the circle inside the seeker outline. So if you look at the SVG, you have a circle element inside it. So I'm just going to access that inside our outline element. So circle I have accessed. Now I have the outline completed, and then I will also need to get the outline length. So I need to know what is the total length of that particular circle itself. So once I have the length, I can multiply with the current time so that I will get an actual percentage of the time which has elapsed, right? So for that, I will use the default function by JavaScript, which is called get total length, and then so which will give out the SVG circle's total length, and then we will also get the audio element, const audio equal to new audio. So this we will use to play the audio file which we are going to get. So we have just initialized the audio element into a variable called audio. Okay, and we will also set up a default audio source if nothing is selected, just to be on the safe side. So the default audio source will be ./music, and then let's say cfull.mp3, and then we will also set up a default video source, which is going to be /video/c.mp4. okay, just to make sure these are the files. So inside the music we have cfull and then video c.mp4. Okay, so we have both of them, and once we have it, we can also assign the duration, the total duration, as a default value. So the duration will be in the beginning, I will set it into seconds, so 300 seconds, which is basically 5 minutes. And then we will also set the current time as 0. So this can be elapsed during when the audio has been played, we can increase the current time. Okay, and then we will also set up the style for the outline, which the circle is like. So in the beginning we will set it to like the correct 0 full length. So for that we can use stroke dash offset equal to outline length, and then we'll also set outline dot style dot stroke dash array to outline length. Okay, so let's check how if all these parts are working. I will use the live server extension. So it's starting up, and then as you can see, everything is actually working. And then now we have to listen to all these things. So just to make sure that we have got the length of that particular circle length, and then if I go over here, yeah, so we are getting the circle length. Okay, so that is done. Now we will listen for the play pause button event listener, like looking at if a click event happens, then what should be done, right? So let's say play pause button dot add event listener. If a click event happens on the play or pause button, then we will call a function called toggle play. So we will write that function now, function toggle play. So inside that we will check if the audio element we have created, if it has a source attribute in it, then we will check if the audio is actually in post mode, which has like audio.post. We can access, like we can check if the audio is actually post in post state using audio.post attribute. So if that's true, then we will do audio play. Otherwise, the audio is not post, but it has an attribute called source. Then we will do audio.post. Okay. So if it doesn't have an audio.source, and in this case, it's actually true because like we have just initialized the audio, we haven't set up any source like file for it. In that case, we can do is audio.src equal to default audio source, and then we will also call audio.play. So let's check by clicking this. Yeah, as you can see, the MP3 is actually playing. And now we have to toggle this button as well. So the functionality is working, the button is not changing. So for that, we will also call another function called toggle control btn, and we will write out that function toggle control button. And inside that, what we'll do is if play pause btn dot class list dot contains, we are going to check if that class list contains play element in it, and in that case what we'll do is play post button dot class list dot replace. We will replace the play with post element, and else if it doesn't have play element, which means that it has a post element, then we will replace this post with play. Just reverse it. Okay, so play and then pause. Okay, so check if it's working. Yeah, that's what is working. And then so play request was interrupted by a call to pause. All right, so we will also check, we can check that using, we will also check if audio dot post is not true. So either one of these conditions should be corrected so that we can actually have it. Okay, so that's working. And now we have the control button, and then we will also need to show the video part. So based on the video you have been displaying, you have to based on the audio you are playing, you are also supposed to like change the background video. So we will create a function for it, toggle video function toggle video. So inside that, what we'll do is we will just check if the video, same thing, if video l dot src is present, then we can just directly play, right? If video l dot video also has a post attribute. If you can check like if it's post, then you have to play it, video l dot play. Otherwise you can just pause it, video l dot pause. Okay, and then if it doesn't have a source element, then you can assign a default default video source element. So default video source, and then we will directly call the play on it. So let's check if that part is working. So play, yeah, the C is playing. Okay, and then the pause is also working, so that part is done. Now we have to update the timer. If you notice, the timer is not working, right? So let's just refresh. Yeah, the timer is not working. So for that part, what we can do is we can listen on the audio element. We will create an add event listener, and then we'll say on time update. So it has a event called time update, not on time update. It has an event called time update. So what we'll do is every time the audio's time is updated, we will get a event triggered. Okay, so inside that particular event, what we can do is we can update the current time. So current time we are getting, and then like we will get the audio's current time. We'll assign that particular value, and then we'll calculate the elapsed time. So the elapsed time equal to duration. Duration is our total value we have set over here on the top, right? So by default it's 5 minutes. We can change it as based on the time event clicks happens. So in this particular condition, I will minus current time from duration. So we have the elapsed time, and then we will also get the seconds value to actually show up over here. These are seconds and these are minutes. We have to update both of them. So in seconds, what we'll do is we will make use of math.floor, and then inside that we will do elapsed time mode 60, and we will convert into string. Then we will pad the start with two values, actually 2 0. So what this pad start does is, like, let's say you have done elapsed time mode 60, and then you are getting it's only 1 second. So in that particular case, if that happens, then the value will be, let's say, 4:1. So it should be 0 1. So to that happen, we have to use pad start, which will append 0, and then at least it will return two decimal points, not decimal points necessarily, two actual integers. So if you put 3, you will get 0 0 1. If you put 2, 0 1, and then so on and so forth, right? And then once you have it, we can also get the minutes value using the same format, math.floor elapsed time mode, no, it should be divided by 60, right? So that is done, and you have the we can set up the elapsed time text content as minute, and then colon with seconds. So let's check if that's actually updating. Yeah, as you can see, it's updating. Okay, so now that part is done. What we can do is, the next one would be, we have to change the music elements. So we will put a event listener on all of these elements. If you notice, each of the music elements has this one, sound picker. Inside that we have music select button. So each of them has a music select button. So we will get all these elements, and then we will loop through it, and then we will add a event listener on top of it. So also in each of those elements, you have a data music tag and then data video tag. So we can directly use those dataset attributes to play the elements as we need it. So const music else, and then we will do document.query selector all, and then we can get the element from here. Okay, so we have copied that, and then we will do a for loop on top of it. Musicals dot for each music L, and then inside the musical we will do a event listener, musical dot add event listener. We will look for the click event, and then if the click event is triggered, we can get that particular event, and then we will check if that, okay. So in this particular case, let's just console or log it out, event.target. So I click on this one, I'm getting image as the event, but if I click outside, I'm getting the button. So in order to, like, these two things we are getting like randomly. So if the user actually click on image and then we look for the data set, we are not going to get the data set. We have to actually get the button element. So for that, what we will do is we will get the closest element. We will make use of JavaScript closest method in it. So inside that, we will get the actual element we need. So let's say event.target dot closest, and then we will say button. And then if you do the console.log now with the element, no matter where you click, you will actually get the button itself. So I'm clicking on the C element, you are getting the button, right? So that part is done. Now we have the element, we can access the data set also. So inside the data set, we have all these like music and then the video, right? So for that, we can just update it directly using audio.sarc equal to l.dataset dot music. So you can just access music, and then video l.src equal to l.dataset.video. So that is done, and then we will also call toggle video and then toggle play and then also toggle control button. So as you can see, once we click on the sea, it's working, the forest, it's working, and the birds also working. So our music element selector is also now working. So the next thing would be how to update the time elements, right? So for that, we will also follow the same structure. We will get all the elements into a variable, query selector all, and then we can just select all these time element dot time select btn. So if you go over here on index.html, you can see time select btn is the class. So we'll get all these elements, and then we will loop through it. Time else dot for each, and inside that we have each time element. So inside the time element, we will set up add event listener, and then inside the event listener, we will listen for the click event, and we will access the event target, and the same thing, we will get the element as event dot target dot closest, and then the button. So inside the button, if you notice, we have the time value, which is data time. So we can access the data time into duration. So duration equal to l dot dataset dot time. So let's check. Yeah, time is the dataset value. And then now let's play forest one, then update. Yeah, so that part is also working. So which means that's it. Our video is done. So if you guys have any doubt, please let me know in the comments. And if you have any suggestions to make a video on, also let me know in the comments. I will update you as soon as possible. All right, so until then, keep coding. I will see you guys in another one.